Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to attempt to predict the scores and results of week 11 of the Premier League season 2017-2018. But before we get on to this week, let's have a quick look at last week's results. So looking at the scores and the doors, I actually came away with 11 points and you came away with 6 points. You had one perfect score and I had two perfect scores. We both predicted the Manchester United Spurs result to be 1-0, which of course it did, and I predicted the Brighton Southampton score to be 1-1 as well. Overall though, I came back with 11 points, you came back with 6 points, so overall I'm satisfied. Are you with 6
Not really,
points?
no.
Could have done a little bit better?
Could have done much better.
Okay, but the grand totals at the moment is you've got 64 points and I've crept ahead again because I think you were just 1 point behind me last week. I've gone up to 70 points. Looking at the comment section, and there was a fair few of you who actually joined in as well last week, but the top scorer in the comment section was Ordinary Kenzie with an okay score of 10 points. So Ordinary Kenzie, well done to you. So let's move on to week 11.
Okay, so the first fixture is Stoke v Leicester at the Bet365. Both teams haven't had the best start to the season. Mark Hughes is under a bit of pressure because of how low they are in the table. They are actually 14th. They have started to pick up form a bit, but they're just not doing well, Stoke, this season. Leicester, under Claude Puel, look good. It's going to be really hard to predict. I don't think there'll be any goals in this match at all. It's going to be pretty close. It's going to be 0-0.
Yeah, very tough, tough fixture to predict this one, especially last week. Stoke had a fantastic away win against Watford, of course, and I didn't really see that one coming. Everybody was predicting a Watford victory in that one. Stoke coming off a few bad defeats themselves, but then of course Leicester beating Everton at home. This one, tough one to predict. It's, to be honest, it's got draw written all over it, as you said. I've actually gone for a couple of goals in this match, and I'm going for Stoke City 1, Leicester City 1.
Okay.
Moving on to the second fixture, we've got Huddersfield Town versus West Bromwich Albion. Another real tough fixture to predict. Huddersfield last week, of course, they lost it heavily against Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, doing really well at home. And West Brom, okay, they were at home against Manchester City, but ultimately, they put up a good fight. They did. Pulis actually went for it last week. Coming up, they lost 3-2 in the end. This week, though, I can see Huddersfield, they're at home. They're going to have the edge slightly. West Brom probably be targeting this game as, something, maybe they can get an away win, but I don't think they will. I think Huddersfield will win this one 2-1.
Okay. Well, both teams, once again, it's a really hard fixture to predict, but I've gone for the same as you. Yeah, both teams, they just it's so hard to predict. But I reckon it's just going to be 2-1 Huddersfield. Huddersfield, great starts to the season, dipped in form quite a bit. Now they're picking it back up. West Brom, once again in the 15th, just below Stoke. They've been alright, draw after draw after draw, but such a hard one to predict. And I think Huddersfield are only just going to get the edge. Okay, so the next fixture is Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Now, I can only see this one going one way. Newcastle been absolutely great for a newly promoted side this season. Bournemouth sitting in 19th. They've been absolutely awful, but I can only see this going one way. It's going to be 2-0 Newcastle. Yeah. Well,
Newcastle, they narrowly lost against Burnley last week at Burnley, of course. Home, they should be, a bit stronger. They had that good result against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago as well. I'm the same as you. I can see Newcastle winning this one. I think Bournemouth, they're going to be a tough nut to crack though. They narrowly lost against Chelsea last week. So I'm going for Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 1.
Okay.
The only problem with Newcastle, they haven't really got a striker who's putting the ball in the onion bag as such, really. I think they didn't score last week, of course, but I think they will get the goals this week.
They've got a really strong midfield, though, haven't they? And
it's a fairly decent midfield, strong in defence. It's going to be tight, but ultimately I see Newcastle, the Magpies, winning this one.
Yes. Okay, so the next fixture is Southampton versus Burnley on the South Coast. Now, Burnley have had an absolutely phenomenal start to the season, and Southampton, they're in 10th, Burnley are in 7th, but again, another really tough fixture to predict, but I can only see Burnley winning this one, really. And I think it's going to be a really late goal as well. It's going to be a really close match. I can't see there being many goals in it, but I reckon it's going to be 1-0 Burnley, just.
Yeah, this one, I never... Looking at these fixtures this week, they're really tough. Well, most of them are really tough to predict. Southampton, Burnley, not a lot of goals in this one. There weren't a lot of goals in their fixtures last week, of course. Burnley getting that narrow victory against Newcastle. Southampton going away to Brighton and picking up a point in that 1-1 draw. Will Southampton score this week? Will Burnley? I can see this ending the stalemate. I'm going for a 0-0 ball draw. Defences, it's going story of the defences in this match, really. Especially with you got Van Dijk back as well now, and he's sort of shored up that Southampton defence, which was leaking a little bit of goals. Fairly solid over, they got fostering goals as well, but 0-0 for me. Next up, we have Swansea City against Brighton and Hove Albion at the Liberty Stadium down in South Wales. Swansea, the fans. Where do we start? The fans are really, which I. Seem listening to local radio down here in South Wales. The fans are getting on Clement's back a little bit. You could say you hear it in the media. Around South Wales. Brighton, they're doing okay. They got that draw last week against Southampton, and I think they're going to pick up another point. And I'm going for a 1-1 draw here. Well,
I've gone the opposite of you, but Brighton, great starts to the season for a newly promoted side. They've got a phenomenal player in Gross, getting 5 assists.
Yeah, he's doing well, Gross. Yeah. We've mentioned him before.
Yeah,
of course.
he's been absolutely excellent. Clements is under a lot of pressure, and I can only see Brighton winning this. Really, it's going to be 2-1.
Yeah. So, do you think Clements will last much longer at Swansea?
I think
because he's been chopping and changing managers over the last couple of years.
I think he'll be gone just before or just after Christmas.
Yeah, it's tough. It depends. If they pick up their results, I can see them staying. If they don't, and they're in the bottom 1 or 2, then maybe, the board there, they'll panic and bring somebody else in. Will they have to... It's a tough one, really, for the Swans down there.
Yeah.
If they do pick up, because they got that transfer window, will they splash the cash there? Have they got the cash to splash in that transfer window? Myself, in this one, I can see a draw.
Yeah.
And you can... Well, you're going for a Brighton victory, of course. So.
Okay, so the next fixture is West Ham versus Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, they've been hit and miss really this season. Their defence is just weak as anything, isn't it? It's just
it is away from home. At home, I think they've only conceded 1 goal maybe all season. So,
but
it's like a Jekyll and Hyde with Liverpool.
Yeah,
at the
Liverpool
moment.
are just really weak at the moment. But West Ham, where do we start? They've been all right. They've been picking up the draws and the losses, but Slaven Bilic is under a huge amount of pressure at the moment, and I can just see Liverpool winning this one really down at the London Stadium. I reckon it's going to be 2-1 Liverpool, and there's a possibility after this fixture that Slaven Bilic might be sacked.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I believe is might happen.
Well, I would have said that a couple of weeks ago, going into, I think it was the Tottenham, the Tottenham match. They were down 2-0. They brought it back to 3-2 in the Carabao Cup, and then they had that draw against Crystal Palace last week. They were up in that match. Crystal Palace, I think Zaha scored in the 90th minute, didn't he? Liverpool, brilliant at home, not conceding at all really there. Going away, totally different side, terrible. How do I see this? Normally you'd say Liverpool would win this match, but I think West Ham have sort of turned the corner. Not quite turned that corner. Maybe they've just got their nose, or they're just peeping around that corner. And I can see this one ending in a draw as well. Real difficult fixture to predict this weekend. So I've gone for West Ham 1, Liverpool 1.
Well, Liverpool at the moment. It feels like they're playing like Burnley last year.
It does, doesn't it? Yes.
Awful away, excellent at home. But okay, so the next fixture is Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Now Tottenham have had a really good start to the season, getting obviously those 4 wins on the trot, and then losing last week to Man United. Crystal Palace, they're starting to pick up form a bit, getting the 2-2 draw with West Ham, I believe, last week. But unfortunately, I can only see one way that this will go at Wembley. I can only see Tottenham winning 3-0 in this fixture, depending on if Harry Kane is fit, which he probably won't be.
Have you been looking at my results?
No.
Right, well, actually, this is probably the easiest fixture of the weekend to predict, and I've actually gone for 3-0 as well.
Okay.
Harry Kane is actually playing in Europe this evening. We're recording this on a Wednesday evening against Real Madrid, of course. Will he be fit for the weekend? I think he will. With Harry Kane there, the likes of Dele Alli, Eriksen, I think they're going to blow Crystal Palace away. They are at Wembley, and they've been up and down a little bit this season at Wembley, but as I say, Tottenham 3, Palace 0. Okay, moving on to the next fixture, we've got Manchester City against Arsenal. Manchester City, as we've said time and time again, they've just blown the opposition away. Arsenal, though, they've been picking up recently. They've had some good results, and I think they've won their last 5 home matches. However, they are going away, and they are up against this rampant Manchester City, and I can see this one, Manchester City 3, Arsenal 1 in the end. I think Arsenal will score, especially as West Brom did get a couple of goals last week as well. So that's what I'm going for. Manchester City to continue their cracking form this season, 3-1.
Well, believe it or not, I've gone for exactly the same as you again. 3-1 to Man City. Now, Man City are just too dominant at the moment. I think they're just going to... They're just attacking like mad at the moment. But
the only thing is, I know that Aguero's actually started in Europe this evening, as we say, recording on Wednesday.
They have Jesus, and they have Sane, they have Sterling, they have the squad depth there.
They do, but who's going to start up front on the weekend? It's for fantasy managers, it's a bit of a headache. Will Jesus come back into the side, or will Aguero play on the weekend? And you've got Harry Kane coming back into the picture as well. But
I can only see it going 3-1. Okay. So
fantastic. Okay, the penultimate fixture of the weekend is a cracker. We got Chelsea against Manchester United at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea grinding out results, not playing the best, hammered in midweek against Roma, so they're going to be looking to bounce back from that humiliation, you could say, in the week. Manchester United, basically boring football at the moment, but I don't think Jose Mourinho will worry about that. He's kind of getting on the fans. He's kind of getting at the fans a little bit, and I think that could be justified. Are the Manchester United fans a little bit too quiet at the moment? Should be getting behind their team. They're not playing the best football, but they are getting results, and I can see this one yet again. Maybe it's going to be a draw, maybe not, but I can actually see Manchester United winning with this one 1-0.
Well, I can see this one being a really tough fixture. Now, it's going to be obvious that Jose Mourinho is going to park the bus. Just the whole match, I can see. Or if Man United pick up their first goal. It's just the thing is, I can see there being goals in this match. I think Chelsea will be able to get through the bus-like defence, but...
Well, Hazard's coming back in the league at the moment.
So I can see this one being a draw, but I reckon it's going to be 2-2.
2-2. That bus has got a few holes in it there this week.
That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, so the last fixture is Everton versus Watford at Goodison Park. Now, where do we start with Everton? Goodbye, Ronald Koeman. Watford, absolutely amazing starts of the season. They currently sat in 8th position. Marco Silva's doing wonders there. But Everton, they still don't have a full-time manager at the moment. They've got their Ronald Koeman's assistant coach in charge at the moment. So,
David Unsworth.
So I can only see Watford winning 2-0 in this match. They're just gonna absolutely dominate the Everton defence.
I think if Watford would have won last week, overturned Stoke at home, but that was a bit of a wake-up call to Watford. This one, I think, another week, Everton have been playing together under Unsworth. Whether he is the coach for them, we don't know. We will see. Watford, they have been brilliant, but this one, as we've said yet again, very difficult to predict this week, and I'm actually going for a 1-1 draw. Okay. So there we go, guys. That's our predictions for week 11 of the Premier League season. As always, I'm going to leave a template of these fixtures in the description below. All you need to do is copy and paste that into your comment, make your predictions, and the highest predictor or predictors of the week will get a shout out in the next video. So once again, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay, cheers.